We're gonna be trying out the Slingshot Airstrike. It's a SUP foil board. We got this big boy, the 84, that we're gonna strap on top of it. We'll probably, what do you think we're gonna do, John? Ride it behind the boat, maybe paddle in, see what it can do?
Yeah, we'll try both. Ride it behind the boat, paddle, see if we can't get it going a little bit in the flat water. But yeah,
We might need
everything.
a little bit of everything. Maybe we drop back to the second wave, maybe the third wave. Let's see what this thing can do. Probably the toughest thing about this thing when you're on a boat is how big it is. Look at the size of this thing. Holy Jesus. We're gonna launch this pig. It's like the Queen Mary. We'll see what it does. You know, typically you should be SUP surfing this. But what the heck? We might as well get used to it on the lake before we take it in the ocean and prevent ourselves from cutting ourselves open. All right, Johnny, let's do this. Now, I would have thought bigger board, bigger surface area. I just thought I was going to get up and start walking around all over the place on this one. It was really interesting. That bigger surface area on the board made it a little bit tougher to be able to see the wake in terms of what was happening, also feel the wake, and it took some playing to get the foot position around so we could be more stable. And so the first part, we played around on this first wave, you know, at a very slow speed here, you know, probably going like 5 miles an hour. And then as we got more comfortable, we brought up the speed to a regular speed. So far it's a little tricky. A little bigger board just makes it a little bit tougher to balance. We're getting there. Probably gonna take a couple more times though to get it. So we really felt like a beginner, you know, on a wake foil for the first time, just having not experienced a board with this amount of surface area. And you can see here, finally, kind of got the first wave going, got a little bit more comfortable, but still, you know, despite the fact that both John and I have ridden this foil, you can see that review in our Infinity 84 centimeter wing review. It's a super chill wing. We've used it on a smaller board with no problem. So this purely was the fact that, you know, we couldn't see. It was just harder to get a feel for this board with that much surface area. You know, you can see John here looks closer to he would have when he was first starting, you know, wake foiling, and both of us have put a lot of time on the water in terms of riding a foil. Eventually, you know, you start to dial it in and feel, you know, better about how the board is responding. We both got used to it, but still, you know, if you could give us a choice between this board and a smaller wake foil board, you know, we would gravitate to that. And strangely, a smaller board is just more stable as you're going through this. Ultimately, we're like, okay, forget it. Let's go 70 feet of line. Let's go back to that second wave. And this is where the magic really happened for this board. So by taking it outside into the smooth water and then back into the second wave, that's where this board really started to perform well. I'd say, you know, it was a little bit challenging just to see the wave with that much board underfoot, but both John and I started to get a good feel for it, and it was quite fun. You know, you're looking at this, you could start to run, you know, back up towards the board on that second wave. We didn't drop back to the third wave. We spent most of our time here on the second wave, but this is where we both started to have a really good time, you know, on this board. First wave, no bueno. Second wave, it's fun. Surfed it, able to take it, you know, up and down and around this wave. We did not make a crossover to the third wave behind or to the first wave, but we got a good sense that, you know, this sweet spot, and this is probably what it's meant for anyways, for FSUP, second wave is where you want to be, maybe third, maybe fourth. We also found a real trick here was just to dig in with the heels. Get yourself out to this clear water, and I think this holds true for any time you're going to roll into the second wave. You know, you go nice and wide, then you can see that second wave. That's the only challenge around foiling in the second wave is just being able to see it. You know, first wave, you have all the white water to tell you where it is. The second wave, you got to feel it a little bit. That pull on the outside and then coming in really helps bring it all together. Now, we also want to paddle this a little bit. And it's interesting. I've paddled a lot of SUP boards. You can see here there's no tracking fence. There's just the foil on it. So it goes left and right. But there's plenty of volume. This is a 145 liter board. I weigh 175. John weighs about 195. And this board is plenty of leader for both of us to be able to move around. And I think, when you're getting down a wave face, it's going to be plenty of stable and track down the wave face. But, you're obviously, not going to be just going out for a random SUP paddle on flat water. You're going to use this for a good downwinder, as well as when you get to the coast. And, I think getting out here and just kind of understanding what this board is going to feel like underfoot before you paddle into your first wave is probably going to be a good idea to keep you safe and to make sure that you're enjoying yourself. We also paddled this in the prone style. It paddles really nicely, good board speed. So in terms of the ability to paddle into a wave when you're in the surf, we expect it to be quite good. Once we get this board out on the surf, we'll do another review that isn't just about wake surfing. We'll get this out into the ocean and be able to do that review there as well. We took this big beast, the Mother Mary here, the Queen Mary, out for a ride. And I'd say at first, when we were in that first wake, we were kind of scared shitless.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
It's a lot of board to have out in front of you when you're foiling, especially with the boat so close and a quick little wave back there. So.
Yeah, I felt very uncomfortable. It's like so much surface area on the board, it felt twitchy. And then when we got back to the second wave, it's like magic happened, right?
Yeah, second wave is awesome for getting your SUP foils out there. It, I don't know, it just has the right push to get really comfortable back there, and you don't feel like you're gonna run into the boat. So
yeah,
I think a good time.
I think second it really smoothed out. In the first wave, anytime it made any contact with the water, it's like it suctioned down and we couldn't get it back up in the air. But on that second wave, we were able to even touch down, bring it back up a little bit. And I think so long as we could, between the two of us, kind of read the wave to know where we were in good shape. And the board did quite nicely. I think ultimately, if you're going to take this thing, and again, this is a Slingshot, what is this? It's a Slingshot Airstrike. If you're going to take it in the waves, I think it's a good thing to get behind a boat and just get used to how this board is going to feel. Looking good. I think we both decided that this will be a good board to take out in the surf. We'll do Washington Coast, maybe a little Maui. All in all, it was good. I think for wake surfing, stick with the smaller ones or wake foiling. But that second wave was really fun. I enjoyed it. Any last words there, Johnny?
Hey, just get out, have fun. Great day.
All right, get it.